Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am back once again with another review. Today we are taking a look at, from the upcoming Robots in Disguise cartoon line, this is the Wave 2 Legion figures, and starting us off is Sideswipe. These figures are slowly coming into the United States by way of Targets in California, and you'll be able to find them probably in your neck of the woods sooner than later. Um, After a few different movie um, iterations of a silver-colored sports car, we have Sideswipe here back as his traditional red, which with a more animated aesthetic. From what we've seen of the shows thus far, Sideswipe is going to be a hotshot type character that uses swords. I really don't understand why, since they have drift, but hey. That's what works. As you can see, the figure is predominantly red, um, with little black accents. I do like the little ridges here on the side of the arms. That's gives you a nice little flare of action, and maybe could be weapons. Speaking of which, figure does not include weapons. That's a bit of a bummer. Your standard Legion articulation, ball joints in the hips and shoulders, swivel everywhere else. This is not like Prime, Cyberverse, Cliff Jumper. This is not I mean, it's a good figure, but it's not like that super articulated. Transformation is fairly simple. Step one, go ahead, peg the legs together, swing the arms down. You want to go ahead and bring this flap up and over. That'll be the roof of the car. In the instructions on the back of the packaging, it shows the front flipped up like that, but it is double jointed to flip all the way down. Next, what you want to go ahead and do is slide the arms up. There are tabs here on the back of the arm, right where my finger is, that will fit into slots underneath the roof of the car. Just go ahead and peg it, get them in. It's not a tight, won't hear a click or anything, but it is there. Um, there's really no tight connection points on this figure. Go ahead, bend what were the robot knees up and around. These will cover the hands. Form the rear of the car, and then go ahead and flip the feet down, and that'll basically, for the most part, secure everything into place, where you have a very nice, futuristic-looking red sports car. On the side here, where's the door, which was Sideswipe's arm, is that little QR code scanner for the game. And yeah, I mean, it's a fun little car. It rolls. That's basically all you can ask. I do really like the paint. Much like Combiner Wars Wind Charger, it's this very nice, almost metallic red paint, very shiny, very sparkly. I think really with the 2015 lines, Hasbro has really upped their paint game, and I usually don't point out paint, but in situations like this, I do. So that's about it for Sideswipe. Let's take a look at the Wavemate Grimlock. Grimlock looks very similar to his Warrior class version, green, black, and also much like Sideswipe, which I forgot to mention, does have the faceplate here on his head. Let me just bring it in here and I'll show you. The warrior figure, on the packaging we usually just see the open mouth, but this has the faceplate down, thus giving us a look that looks a little bit more like the traditional Grimlock. Articulation is fairly standard. Again, swivel in the arms, no elbows, but they are somewhat bented. Ball joints in the hips, and actually this figure has no knees, unfortunately. No knees whatsoever. Transformation is, again, very simple. Go ahead. You want to flip what will be the tail up and over the shoulders. Swing the arms up and around, get them out of the way. Coming down here to the feet, and if this is actually somewhat interesting because it's sort of like the warrior class transformation, but only in a reverse direction. Basically, you're going to unpeg the side panels here and rotate them back up to the hip area. Do it again on this side. They do peg in to the legs quite nicely. And just go ahead. And then finally go squeeze everything together, just like so. Rotate the arms forward. And you have pretty much a animated looking Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like I said, the transformation is a bit is basically like the same as the warrior class, but reversed. Whereas this would have been the legs, and this would have been, and the legs would have been had that swiveling and all that. But so yeah, I mean it's a fun little figure. The little dino arms can move around, but yeah, really not much there to it. It makes for a good desk toy, and I think overall I like Grimlock a little bit more than Sideswipe. I figured since I forgot to show it off, here's Sideswipe's face. You can see a little bit of a paint blemish on the chin, but it too has the battle mask down, so there's that. All in all, I'm usually like a big fan of Legion figures, but uh, just something about this Robots in Disguise Legion line is leaving me a little flat. You figure it's been about a year and a half since we had the Prime Cyberverse line, and those were just fantastic small scale figures. They came with weapons. There was a modular nature to the weapons. Here, it's kind of like they're teasing it because both Sideswipe and Grimlock have the molded grip, like they could hold weapons. There's holes for weapon storage in vehicle or dino mode, but they're not there. And with Wave One, it's just falling flat. You traditionally the Legion line has always been the more value conscious line, and there you can see improvements in the detail and painting, which we have. But I think with the inclusion of the one step and hyper change lines in Robots in Disguise, it kind of negates the necessity of the Legion class. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do next. I heard that there's a Drift and maybe a couple other Decepticons coming. But in my opinion, if you're a fan, you don't really have to rush out and get these right away. The Warrior class Grimlock is phenomenal, and while the one-step sideswipe is the overused butterfly design that we saw from Age of Extinction, it still makes for, I think, a better desk toy than the Legion class sideswipe. Like I mentioned in the beginning, these are trickling into the United States via Target from the West Coast. So if you're out and about, and you really fancy them, and Optimus Prime and Drift are gone, go ahead and pick these up, I guess. This is your old pal Chuck for Sideswipe and Grimlock. We'll see you next time.